It is Saturday night again, and this is the Saturday Night Mouse Party. At the bottom of the screen, there's an email address and a link. You can send in comments, suggestions, or pictures within reason on tacticalfoss@gmail.com. And if you watch this in replay, leave a comment. Anything we talk about, agree with, disagree with, think we left out, let me know. I always read the comments, and they're always appreciated. Excuse me. So tonight we've got DJ Play Nice.
Good evening. It's going well. Glad to be here.
And G Webs, how you doing?
Fair to Medlin, thanks for the invite. Thanks for hosting each week.
And Gizzard Gary, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for the invite.
Well, thank you for showing up. Hey, let's take a peek, see who was out there in the chat. DJ Play Nice was out there first. Rick Harris, G23, Gizzard Gary, Hillbilly Up, Roy Munson, Ozzy Osbourne, Sergeant Joe Smith, Garage Guy. There we go, Garage Guy 879. And I think that's everybody who said something. And I've got some new, let me embiggen myself here. We've got, there we go, new stickers. These are the big ones. These are like 4-inch ones.
I have a question about this particular one.
Yes.
And we're talking about the scale of Dino. Where'd you come up with this Dino scale?
That's how big he was in the reference picture that I used. So, do you feel he's too small or too big?
Too little, right? Or am I remembering, is this some kind of, what is that thing called when you can't remember the past, right?
Oh, the Mandela effect.
Yeah, is this some kind of Mandela thing? Or wasn't he big enough to knock over Fred?
I think so. I'm not sure if the reference picture I used was from the cartoon or if it was somebody's drawing of the cartoon. I don't remember. So that's why he's as big as he is. Yeah, there should be a couple more coming in another week or so. So I'll show everybody those when they come in.
Is this what's known as Sticker Mania?
Yeah, these are from Hub City, and they've been running really good deals on stickers, so I've been ordering stickers. This was 4-inch, 54-inch for, God, what was it? Somewhere around $20, maybe 25 or so. Which, sticker-wise, that's a good deal.
That's a sweet deal.
So I get suckered into doing it. And then since there's 2 characters, then I thought the 4-inch would be better than usually I'll buy 3-inch ones. So I like the 3-inch size.
That's what she said.
Here. Just for reference, let me grab another sticker here. So that's the 3-inch size ones. That's usually what I'll get. That's what the new ones are, because it was, I think, $19 for 50 3-inch stickers, and then the 4-inch ones.
It's cool that you can get the die cut done on that 4-inch for that price as well.
Yeah. That's who I've been using lately, just because they've had.
I wonder when they stop being dies, because you know they're robots now. They don't care. Like it used to be, they'd have to make that cut, and that costs money, so it was an upgrade.
It's probably just a carryover term.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying. I wonder when that switchover was.
So, pinned at the top of the chat is a link for this week's poll. So if you haven't voted,
How much does it cost to participate in that poll?
that is absolutely free.
What? Wait, I
Yes.
thought I heard you say it was free to participate in the poll.
Yes, it is absolutely free.
So literally anybody out there that wants to could participate in this poll with no charge.
Yep.
That's a deal. On the last chat I was on, it was like $5 to participate in the poll.
Nope. This channel is completely self-funded, so all the amenities are free.
It's like being on one of those cruises where everything you want to vote on is free. You got your furnace going?
Yeah, it is 30, probably about 35 degrees out right now.
What?
Ooh, that's chilly.
What?
Yeah,
Global warming.
it is.
Says the guy from the desert, of course.
It's 40 here.
It's 63 here. 30. That's your numbers are backwards. Your numbers are backwards. Flip your thermometer upside down. See what happens.
No, it is chilly out. It's not
Whoa!
snowing. They
Holy moly!
heard reports from around the country. There's places that are already getting snow. So
What?
We're supposed to get some in the early morning. It's like 30, 31 degrees right now. So
What?
a couple hours we'll get some snow. Yeah.
We
First
haven't
snow
even
of the
had to
season
bring out
in
a-
October, for God's sake.
We haven't even had to bring out a coat yet. It's been hot. Like hot. I mean, it's 60 outside now. I guess you might put a big winter coat on for that, but nobody in the right mind's going outside when it's 60 out.
New York Outcast is out there.
Is it allowed to be 45? That seems an awfully like aggressive degrees to be. Shouldn't it be 44 or 46 in New York to be less offensive, less aggressive?
It's all American. It's an all-American temperature.
It's a decent temperature. But I'm just saying, it seems aggressive for such a state.
That temperature won 2 world wars.
If anybody's interested in a New York flag, I have a special on New York flags right now. Double-sided New York flags where there's a liner in the middle and each side is correct instead of being like backwards on one side like a thin flag.
That sounds like a good flag, a nice one.
Yeah, I got it for a good deal. So they're going fast to people who want them.
So let me go ahead and call up we'll take a look at the poll. And it was, here, let me switch. There we go. Are you going to dress up for Halloween?
Oh, it's pretty close.
80% said no. 20% said yes.
It's a lot of naked Halloweening going on.
I am not. I'll probably give out candy. Usually, my wife will take the kid out, and then I'll give out candy. It's kind of neat to see the little kids in their costumes and whatnot. And then about 8 o'clock.
Do they do anything typically, or do they just walk up and say trick or treat, or do they even say that anymore, or like?
Yeah.
Is there kind of things happening? Do any of them do any little things? Like, because
No,
back in the day, some kids would do stuff.
They usually just walk up, say trick or treat. Then about 8 o'clock, we'll shut it down, and I'll put a note on the door that says, "Sorry, we're out of candy."
8 o'clock.
Yep.
You're just there for the little kids.
Yeah.
So what have you given out? Full size Three Musketeers and Snickers?
Not full size, just I don't know. My wife said she bought. I haven't seen what candy she bought, but we'll just get the mixed bag of candies. But for some reason, we don't. The kids will pass our house. We're on a corner, and they'll pass our house and go to the neighbors. I don't know. It's every year that'll happen.
We put stuff up?
Not really. There's a couple decorations I put out past few years just to maybe let the kids know, hey, we'll give you candy, but still doesn't seem.
I think at this point, because back in the olden days, you'd go anywhere and they'd give you candy. But I think now, if you don't have your lights on and stuff, that means they participate.
Well, kind of less and less kids understand the lights off, no candy thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So at our old house, we ran out of candy, so I turned the light off and then kind of blocked the walkway up to the house with the car and the garbage bin, and the kids would move the garbage bin to get around to get up to the house.
Well, that's because they're probably getting desperate, but I guess it depends on how many kids there are. But it depends. Are they allowed to trick or treat all night, or what's the deal? They're probably not allowed to do that all night anymore.
Now it'll usually start between 8 and 9. It usually dies off. Maybe get some, the teenage kids, the older kids, closer to 9. But yeah, my wife's going to take my daughter up to the mall and walk around because the stores will give out candy.
It's probably safe. Do the stores give out decent candy, or are they like, here's the cheapest garbage we could cheap out on?
I haven't been to the one at this mall, but we used to go where we used to live. There was an outlet mall, and they would just, it'd just be regular bags of candy that they'd give out.
I consider a small size candy bar, like the little mini or fun sizes. Well, now they make minis, which are even suckier. But the fun size candy bar, I consider that the middle of the road for candy. It's either better than that or it's worse than that. What do you consider middle of the road?
Like, which one is which? Which is the bigger one?
Fun size.
Well, I guess, but you consider like a candy, like that kind of thing, the middle of the road? Because some people would say like, I don't know, like hard candy counts, like when you buy a bag of it and it costs like $1 and there's a zillion of them in there. People will count that as Halloween candy.
Yeah.
That's like phoning it in Halloween candy.
What? I don't know.
I guess it depends. If you live somewhere where there's like going to be nonstop hundreds and hundreds of kids, then you can't afford to put real candy out. But every place I've ever lived, I can't imagine they get more than a few dozen kids going by. So why not buy decent candy?
When I was a kid, we'd take a pillowcase and you would fill that pillowcase.
Yeah, me too. But we would haul out. We'd go all over. We'd go far. Like, I don't know if you can do that anymore today.
Yeah. And
we definitely left our neighborhood for sure. We'd do like 3 neighborhoods. But you could almost start after school back in the day, and then it would go till way in the night. It would be less than, fewer houses in the beginning and in the end.
There was the neighborhood behind our neighborhood when I was a kid was the rich neighborhood. They were the ones that gave out the full-size candy bars. They'd have like big big boxes of full-size candy bars that they give out.
They give out Twizzlers. I don't even know how they do Twizzlers, like some sort of little mini 2-pack. I think I've seen.
Yeah.
Them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you're allowed to give out the kind of candy you like, and then that is part of it, I guess. But I also think there's a bit of be nice to the kids. Why not, right? That's the whole point. Make their day.
So which would you prefer, G? The one really good thing, or like a handful of average?
Oh no, like I said, I think you should go with a candy bar or better. Now, I guess if somebody thinks like something coconut or something peanut butter or something strawberry is better, that's the what do you call, like the hit or miss of Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock. Does anybody know that anymore? That's the hit or miss of Halloween. But I don't think it should be I always was disappointed when you get like, what are they called? Like just the garbage candy, like butterscotches or peppermints, or just like, the punishment candy. Like we have to give you these,
Butterscotch disc. Yep.
right? Or like whatever it is that you buy, like a billion of them for $1 in the cheap section of Walgreens or whatever. Like those kind of candies, those people are phoning in. Essentially, they're saying we don't want to participate, but we don't want to get our house TP'd. But I think for the kids, if you want to make them happy or whatever, yeah, like because I mean Reese's is the whatever Butterfinger, like that's the excitement is what am I gonna get? But if you're gonna be like handing out licorice just to be a jerk or something, come on. Or just to like I don't know, people would do stuff. I don't know. See, that's the thing though. I don't want to say that because like nowadays there are different types of candy. Like there's sour candies or hot candies. So if somebody gave out something like that, I would, that's what I think would be the interesting part of Halloween, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think the fluctuation should be between garbage candy and like full-size candy bars because that's just somebody who has a bunch of money showing off. Like, no kid expects to get full-size candy bars. But I think part of the fun is like, oh, here's a different kind of candy that I've never ate before. Or maybe, like, I don't know, but, different countries have their different kind of candies. Like maybe there's some kind of rice candy. I've never eaten any of those really because they're usually not good.
There is. Mm-hmm. Because like Botan rice candy came in a little box. They're like gummy drops kind of thing. There's a lot of Mexican candy that's out.
Oh, there's a shit ton of Mexicans. And they're always like Halloween style because they're like kind of like you'd have a bowl of them hanging out. But that's the thing I'm getting. And I'm trying to think of like gummies from Sweden. Like that kind of stuff was sort of a Halloween thing. Back in the day, you didn't have candy shops with all this stuff all the time. So it was a little bit of the, what am I going to find in the bag? What's going to be new or whatever this year.
The Botan rice candies, growing up, they're kind of hard. And then once you get them chewing, they soften up. Yeah. I didn't realize until my wife, there's an Asian market in Seattle that my wife goes to. She bought me a box from there. They're not supposed to be hard. When they're fresh, they are soft. It is.
Oh, it's like everybody's eating them stale and they don't even know.
Yeah. 50 years, I didn't know that they weren't supposed to be hard, that they're actually soft when they're fresh.
That makes a lot of sense because we only got them when we go to the restaurants. They would have them at the checkout, instead of Andy's Mints or whatever, they'd have boxes of those. My brother was such a fan. But yeah, that's funny. I didn't know that.
I like a freshly boiled fortune cookie. Most people don't know that those are best enjoyed like soaking wet out of the boiler.
Misfits Darling is out there. And
hard to read the paper when they're fresh out of the boiler.
Jason Ghost, Tara Smith's out there. Woods. Candy corn. I actually like candy corn. I don't love it. I can't eat a lot of it, but I like candy corn.
I'm not against it. I could see being against it for Halloween. It's got no. How do you give out candy corn? Wrapping candy corn? That's messed up. Like, no. But just having bowls of it, no, I'm okay with it.
I prefer the pumpkin ones. They're larger than the candy corn.
Yeah, so you can bite into them and eat them.
Yeah, I think they're better.
Yeah. Well, what the hell flavor is a candy corn? And are the different colors different flavors?
They're sweet.
Sugar.
Yeah.
Can't you get like green ones? Or am I crazy?
Yeah, they have. I have seen other colors.
So those are probably mint or something. I don't know if they're flavored as much as they're just sugar. I think they're just sugar and something holds them together. Mayonnaise, probably.
Wax.
Mayonnaise.
New York Outcast said.
But you know what? I think them and circus peanuts. You ever eat circus peanuts? A lot of people.
For me, circus peanuts is crack. I love circus peanuts, and I'll eat them till I get sick.
Yeah, have you?
I love them too.
Have you had a new one, like a fresh one?
Like I won't buy them unless they're soft. I'll squeeze them in the package.
Yeah, okay.
If they're hard, I won't buy them.
I'm trying to remember if I went somewhere and they were making them or something, but I've had them, and when they're, not warm or nothing, but when they're like literally like a marshmallow, they're just a different, I don't know what to call it, texture, I guess, consistency or something. I mean, they're like candy corn more when they're old, but when they're new, they're like much closer to a marshmallow, I guess, like a substantial marshmallow. Anyway, they're. I'm not gonna. Can't remember the last time I ate them, but I do know that they usually get the bad rap also.
Did you know they're banana flavored?
What? No.
That's the flavor. Is
Oh,
banana.
you mean they are? I thought you meant there is a banana flavor also.
No,
Oh,
they
you mean-
are banana flavored.
Oh, now I kind of want to go get some again.
I heard that.
It kind of makes sense. They have a weird flavor.
New York
I never thought
Outcast
about
said
it.
he misses popcorn balls. This is
Mm.
in Hillbillies chat. They were talking, the favorite candies and stuff.
You
And,
mean hillbilly? Chad?
yeah, and when I was a kid, we hated to get popcorn balls, any of the non-candy
Mhm.
treats. We hated, raisins or cookies.
Oh, come on. Raisins?
Little boxes of raisins. That was
Yeah.
a total jit,
But
man.
even the popcorn balls, we didn't like
Those are
getting.
pretty- yeah, nobody
Didn't like
likes
to get them
Here.
for Halloween.
They're better when they're fresh, so you can eat them, and they're not just like eating a steel piece of styrofoam. But yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm trying to think. I think you could probably goop one up and it would be good, but the ones we got on Halloween were like wrapped in saran wrap, and they were not gooped up. They were just kind of like eating cake without any frosting on it. It was like not that great.
The trick is to find somebody who actually wants a popcorn ball and then trade them. Because I wouldn't
What
do the
about-
popcorn balls either.
What about caramel apple? I consider them the old timey things from like what our grandparents would have been getting for Halloween.
I like the caramel apples, not the ones, when you get the sheets,
Yeah,
the
caramel sheets,
the
because
microwave versions for the
yeah, they
moms who
come right off the
care
apple.
about their kids. Yeah,
And I've, West Coast is caramel apples, East Coast is candied apples. I've never had a candied apple.
oh yeah, I've seen people eat them, but I don't think I have. I don't think I'd want one. That's why I don't think I've ever eaten one. If they were ever in front of me, I never would have reached for one. I don't like the whole. I mean, I guess sometimes if I'm hankering for an apple, I could see why you'd want all that stuff on the outside of an apple. But they're just a massive mess. Like, I don't get, maybe like from giving it to a horse or something. Like, it seems like horse food. Like, oh, you wrap it in peanut butter and nuts, you'll like it.
Like the hard candy apples, those things are rough, man. It's like sheeted over, like really, really thick. I can't imagine having the chompers necessary for that kind of thing. Plus, who wants to be seen eating like a candy apple or a freaking popcorn ball? Like her mouth is like so huge open to get it even close.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. So, I mean, maybe if you know what would be good, you smash when you've seen those apple slicers that they're like a round thing with cutting blades.
Yeah.
And they look like a pie car. You smash, like if you smashed a popcorn ball into wedges, I wonder if that would work, because that would be a good way to eat one.
Well, do people even do like do people do homemade treats like popcorn balls anymore, or is it like kind of like
there's no way they do it for everybody
I
for the
think-
public?
After the BS scares and needles and razor blades and your
we're forgetting the opposite of all of this: the Rice Krispie treat, which was the actual appealing one of those kind of things. Those I miss getting. But I was just saying, if you're gonna make a popcorn ball, what if they made them like a golf ball size, instead of making them the size of an effing softball so you can't eat them anyway? Make them the size of golf balls so you can actually chew on them in 3 bites. But we're not including Rice Krispie treats. Except for like you got to worry about if they're the assembly of them, the finished Rice Krispie treat. I mean, even a bad Rice Krispie treat is still a Rice Krispie treat, is what I'm saying.
Let's take a quick look at the comments for the poll. DJ Play Nice said, "But as what?" Sorry, I need my bifocals to read. Mike Gillick said, "As an illegal, so I could stop getting up at 4 a.m. To work and have benefits. A free ride sounds good."
Except for the obligation to the cartels, that seems like a life.
PNW Nature Dude is going to go bar crawling. Ron Wade said might give out candy as Santa. Got to add some confusion to Halloween. The goddamn bacon said yes. And not just because the police politely but firmly requested I don't go trick-or-treating in my birthday suit this year. Hillbilly Up said I'm going dressed as Karen so I can go around taking little kids candy.
Hillbilly.
And Michigan for conservative, it may snow. Does adding extra layers count? And I said I will allow it.
I remember it would rain on Halloween, around Halloween often. So you'd have to wear a coat for that, but not snow or get that cold.
Yeah, it did suck having to wear your coat over your costume. You're like looking forward to the costume. You're going to be like the little red devil or whatever for months. You got this thing. You've been wearing the mask and playing in your like bedroom or the backyard or whatever. You tried on the suit more than a dozen times, and then it's time to go out trick or treat, and mom hands you the parka. Damn.
So did you have the plastic masks that you can't breathe in or see?
Yeah. Yeah.
I lived through the era of all those masks that got people killed, and then they got rid of the masks. Remember the big inflatable one that went on your head and everybody died from that one?
I remember that. I didn't remember people dying from it, but I remember that.
I assume when you never see a costume again, it's because a bunch of kids died from it and they got sued out of existence. But that was for like, I think it was like 2-3 years. Like you would inflate these big beach balls on your head, and you'd, so make you seem like a little kid would seem taller because they had this big beach ball on their head. I forgot how they killed kids. Maybe they didn't have eye holes or something. Can't remember anymore. But then those plastic masks, they quit letting people wear them because you couldn't see except for straight forward, so you kept getting hit by cars and stuff. But they also would let us loose. And how often were parents with you? Except for little tiny kids, like nobody had parents. There was no parents walking around when I was a kid.
No.
It was just, I guess in the beginning, E.T. Was that the movie? There's some movie from back then, and it's a pretty good representation of just like the chaos in the streets of all these like groups of kids. Especially where they had candy, like for us at least, there was neighborhoods that had candy, and then there was like the farming neighborhoods that even if they had candy, you're not going there because it was like a half an hour walk between houses. So you'd all go to the neighborhoods where you could essentially be the most effective or whatever, and that's where there'd be tons of kids from there, and there'd be people from other neighborhoods that would show up at those neighborhoods, and they must have known that.
Wood said him and his brother made maps.
Oh yeah.
No way.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, right? Because you would remember a year after year, and you'd know like, oh, those people moved, so we won't even bother going into that area.
And Gunmetal Guy USA is out there listening.
We knew where the rich people lived. They usually gave out the best stuff.
For sure. And then, for us, it was the houses were so far apart from each other where they were giving out the full-size candy bars that it was like you either rode bikes and made like the whole night trying to hit all those and trying to switch costumes and go back, because otherwise you couldn't hit a third of what you could hit in a place where there was a ton of houses. We didn't have malls or nothing like that, or I never heard of that until I was way older, where kids can just go like shop to shop, where it's probably come home with a pillowcase full of candy, no problem. If you go to a whole mall, of course, there's probably a whole bunch of sweet in those where those things are from.
I want to say good evening to Iron Road.
Sweethearts. Somebody gives you sweet and low. Like, hey, thanks, guy.
Gunmetal Guy had a question. Is it dark that I want to eat Peeps and imagine they're screaming in pain when I bite into them?
That's a little twisted.
They could make them with a filling like a Twinkie.
Like red raspberry filling or something like that, so you bite the head off the peep.
Guns Barbecue. It's out there. He's got a wrestling tournament in the morning. Ooh, Barbecue said candied apple is usually cinnamon flavored around here.
Oh,
yeah.
Cinnamon candy is pretty bad. I think I'd rather eat hot candy than cinnamon candy usually.
I don't like apples to begin with. Put cinnamon on it, and I'm really running across the room.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like put raisins on it, you're guaranteed I'm not eating that.
Oh, it's a triple threat.
Yeah, and Woods was
Although
talking
I'll eat
about
an apple, just a plain old apple.
the razor blades in the the apples. Yeah, and that the really screwed up thing about it is the guy that found the razor blade in his kid's apple was the one that put the razor blade in his kid's apple.
Mm.
Just to be a stunt or what?
I don't know.
Munchausen or something like that. The legend that we grew up with, I mean, we had the pins and apples, razor blades and apples, but the one that really freaked me out because I didn't eat the apples, right, was there was the legend of the old lady who would bake a pie full of pennies and would present it to you, and you could grab as many as you could take, and it was to like burn the greedy hands of children, kind of thing. It's like, okay, shit, I'm not going there.
Wait, what? You'd grab a thing, a piece of pie in your hand would burn because it was full of hot pennies?
Hot pennies, yeah.
Sounds like a Brothers Grimm tale.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
weird. But I'd be like, right on, look at all these pennies I got. I remember people would give you money. I'd be all right with that. Like, all right, just
Yeah,
give me
little
some money.
bags that change.
Yeah.
Roy Munson said, I dress up every year and hand out candy. A lot of you sound like Halloween buds.
You know what would be good? I just thought of this. I don't know if this would be funny or not, but because you can get bags of these dog poop bags, rolls of dog poop bags when you go on a walk or whatever, you got to pick it up. So what if you handed out your candy in dog food or in dog poop bags so that the kids think they're getting dog poop, but then inside of it,
But like
there's candy.
unwrapped Tootsie Rolls or something.
No. I mean, just regular candy in there, but instead of just handing them candy, you're giving them a little dog poop bag. I mean, most kids have been around a dog for any minute is going to know what a dog poop bag is, even if they don't own a dog. Like they're going to be. I don't know. I don't know if that'd be fun or not.
Barbecue sent in a picture. That's
Oh
pretty good.
yeah, turtles.
I was going to show. I one year my son, when he's like 6 or 7, I think, wanted to dress up as a king, so I bought a jester outfit and walked around with him. I was going to show that picture, but then I thought, I should have now.
Come on.
Well, I can't show it now. It's on the other computer.
Aw.
Community tab post.
But no, that's cool.
It's practical too, because all barbecue had to do was sew that stuff, those accessories onto his green footy pajamas that he normally wears.
New York Outcast said it wasn't uncommon to swap costumes and hit places twice. I never did it, but I knew kids that did.
You have to when it's
Tricky.
places that are pretty far apart. Otherwise, you'll only get if you had to wait to, if you have to go down a place where the houses are only a third as close as the other place, you go down that road, switch your costumes, and come back, and they're not paying attention, or if they do, they don't care. And then, you know what I mean? Like otherwise, you're walking back past all the houses you already hit, or it's just a waste of time.
M. Gabriel's out there.
What about handing out Legos or something like that's toy related? Pogs or Pokemon cards, or something that the kids might like that isn't candy.
I've never thought about that. I did one year give out the big gummy rats. I bought a few of those and gave those out.
Your lights just gone?
Yeah. The one light up here, it's got a motion sensor, so it turns off and turns on.
It's just haunted, no big deal. That's why that house was such a good deal, because it's haunted technically.
Sergeant Joseph said a few years, city did free carnival to win candy instead of trick or treat when I was a kid. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, the whole phenomenon of trunk or treating kind of thing. I didn't know that that was even a deal. I would feel completely gypped if I was a kid and I had to show up at a parking lot, walk around a bunch of trunks, and have people throw like candy in my bag and then call it good for the night. That'd just be horrible.
So here's another shot from barbecue. Oh, he even painted his head green.
Now, when my kids were little, one year we took them up to the nursing home, and the residents were all in the main area, kind of in a circle, and you could go person to person. They'd hand out candy. They loved that.
Yeah,
My
that's-
mom worked at a hospital as a transcriptionist evenings and weekends when she wasn't teaching school. And you could go to every department. And the department that had the best treats was X-ray, because they would like show you that they X-rayed the candy, like not live, but they would have like an image up on one of the readers or whatever of candy that they were giving you. And they were super generous. You would expect so from a hospital, though.
Yeah, they want you to get all sick and get the diabetes, so that way they can ensure their jobs.
Get you on the way in for candy, get you on the way out of the emergency room.
I'm surprised the dentist office didn't give out free candy. Pretty much guaranteed to drum up business.
No doubt.
They gave you the little toothbrush and the toothpaste tube.
Yeah, and those little red pills that you could take that would turn to black, freaky colors.
Yep, or else they give you little dental flosses.
When I was a kid, I would eat those little red things because they were kind of sweet. So I would eat them like candy.
Nice. Now every time you burp, your teeth change colors, and then how much starch you've been eating.
Iron Road wants to know, how's the battle going between Bacon Bit and Marshmallow for the porch?
No, essentially, Mello owns the porch because she's moody. She goes out there and just goes by herself out there. But then this dude is one of the dogs that is always around people. So every once in a while, he'll get the urge to go out there and just be weird to her. And he'll go out there and be weird to her. And then she'll fight him off. And then he comes back in here. So essentially, it's her ground. And every once in a while, he goes out there, creates a little skirmish.
Oh, have a good night. Have a good match. Guessing it's his daughter that's wrestling tomorrow. Yeah, so come 8 o'clock, usually I'll have at least a quarter, we'll have a big bowl with the candy in it, and there'll be a quarter of it left. So the last few kids, I'll just start dumping candy in to get rid of it.
Yes, that. I always love being able to do that. I would rather have had like a bunch of loose candy, like we were talking about not wishing to receive as a kid. Because if you grab a handful, they're expecting one piece. It's like open the bag wider. They open a little wider, you grab a handful and chuck it in there. They're going to remember that house. You're not going to get TP'd, man. They like you.
The last couple of years, we just left the bowl outside on the porch, and kids have been really good, just taking a couple, a little bit of candy, not grabbing the whole thing.
Well, if you're doing an assortment, that gives them the opportunity to pick also, right? It gives them their time, take their time and pick what they want, dig around in there instead of you just push a bowl at them when you walk, and then they walk up to the house. You know, they're just going to grab whatever's first, you know, in front of them or on top, whatever their hand grabs. So it's potentially a little bit nicer to be able to give them an opportunity to pick.
Saw a short that I can never remember if it's Instagram or YouTube, but it was a short video, a metal bowl, and it was electrified. So if the kids picked it up, then it would shock them.
I think it's in that one. It'll get like 3 steps away, and then they drop it, and then
Yeah.
they say, "We said one piece." Yeah,
It
it's
was an
just,
incredible amount of restraint as a kid to walk up to a candy bowl, like you're saying, boss, and just take one piece. Just like I'd be looking over the left, over the right, looking, make sure no one was in the windows, and be like, bonk, take that whole damn thing, I'm sure.
well, that's the whole point, is that you'd be scared that that was a trap, right? That it was some sort of
Mhm.
setup. And there'd be plenty of that. Like, I don't know if that's still a thing, but people set up little haunted houses or have like some sort of an ordeal you go through the yard to get up to their porch. And, you know, I don't know, I guess just how much they dug the holidays and what, how many. Like I say, if you got near, back in the old days, if you got near a school, there was going to be a ton of people trick-or-treating, because whatever, the people that lived near schools had kids. You know, you get out to the farms and stuff and there'd be less of it. But you'd get close to one of the schools, I'd get maybe more. I can try to think of like the different neighborhoods. Some of them maybe more than others, or I don't know if you knew ahead of time necessarily. But like I say, some of them really put some effort. You know, like nowadays people will put up uh, decorations and stuff or ornaments in the yard, but people went like that extra yard, like level, to make it like a haunted house, or you'd walk by and motion sensor shit, or their kids would just be in the yard throwing shit at you, or, you know, making stuff happen in the yard, you know, as people walk by, you know, like, because you figure how many kids are going to walk by with their parents going from door, you know, house to house, and as they walk by, there's something happening in the yard, you know, something lights up, or something jumps at them, or something comes out of the grave. And back in the old days, you didn't have robots to do all that. You just set some kid there with a rope, right? And the kid just sit there all night drinking on the rope when people walk by.
That or the guy that would jerk the door open and go, ah!
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that would be the base level, right, all the way up to craziness. So that was I mean, I didn't really care one way or the other. It would seem like definitely people got into that. I don't know. I haven't walked around Halloween since the olden days. I guess since the 80s. So I have no idea if that's something people do anymore or not.
One thing that I noticed that's considerably different than when I was a kid, and even over the last 5 years or so, is these inflatable things that people put in their yards. Like, it's not just for Halloween, it's not for Christmas anymore. Like, they're up and down my street, like maybe the 6 blocks north of me. About every other house has some sort of thing, and every half of those have these inflatable things. And there's 2 houses on my street that have like 10 of these inflatable things, from like 2 feet high to like 6 feet or higher, kind of thing. I can't imagine it's bad enough in winter that they, you know, try to keep them inflated because of the cold air, but that's like getting a head start on your electric bill or something. I guess maybe I'm a Grinch about that part of Halloween. I'm not going to decorate it that way. I mean, it used to be a jack-o'-lantern on the porch, or, you know, a spooky skeleton hanging, you know, somewhere in a doorway or something like that was enough to get it done. Now people are out spending, you know, a couple $100 on inflatables.
And those things can't last but a season. They're not made well, and
They do last. So we've got neighbors right kind of kitty corner from us that they've had the same one both Christmas and Halloween. They're slowly kind of adding to it, but the original ones they've had for 3-4 years they're still using.
okay. I figured they were just disposable almost.
Black Guns and Gardens out there. Good evening. Then they're seem to be getting more complex too. They're kind of started out, you know, it was just an inflatable shape, and now they've got like glowing red eyes, and I'm not sure if they make noise or not, other than the fan in them.
This neighbor happens to be a combination of the two. Where my cam is not going live. I'm like standing outside and it's cold because I wanted to show you the neighbor who has, like, there we go. That's probably pretty far away, but it won't be all that helpful. But like, they have Christmas stuff up and Halloween stuff up at the same time. So the things that are like the larger up vertical ones, it's a ghost, a witch, and a goblin or something. And back there's like one of their, I don't know, evergreens trimmed in red light bulbs and whatever else. But like, yeah, the people down this way have whole like graveyard in their front yard and stuff. So, I mean, I'm glad to see that they're celebrating.
I just have like one little tombstone thing and then a little sign. I don't even remember what the sign says. And that was just to try and let kids know that, hey, you know, it's okay. We got candy too. And the bulb on the front of the house, I'll swap it out for an orange one. I don't put a lot of effort into it, but when you were a kid, did you know, after you're done, either with your friends or your siblings, kind of spread out your candy and start trading?
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, that's how you get rid of like the stuff you don't like, and other people feel the same way, right? Because nobody likes the same stuff except for like, I don't know. There's got to be a couple of universal candies that everybody likes, but everything else, that's the whole point, right? I mean, there was people that liked the hard stuff or the stuff you had to suck on or something, so, it'd take forever to eat that kind of candy, but then they'd have candy till like July or whatever. Because they didn't know, it's not like chocolate where you just eat it that evening.
Well, what happened is all the candy that the kids wouldn't eat, the parents would end up taking out to work. Because I don't know how many times we'd have parents bring Halloween candy and put in a break room and stuff like that. The day after Halloween.
They don't want their kids eating a pillowcase full of candy.
Yeah, one year my mom made us separate it out, and we only got like so many pieces a day. I was like, oh, what? Like, you get this pile of candy in front of you, and then she's like, "Nope, we're going to divide this up." that was bad. I didn't.
As Fitzdarlin said, my kids played poker and gambled with their candy.
Oh yeah, we've definitely done that before.
What I used to do is my son would, come home with his candy, and he would never finish it. So I would, any leftover Halloween candy, I would save for Easter and give the kids for Easter. And then whatever was left over for Easter, I would save and then give out for Halloween.
No wonder you spent 50 years wondering about those Botan rice candies, man.
I'd go through their bags, and some of it would just flat get confiscated because I deemed it dangerous for kids to have, so I ended up having to consume it for them.
Like Reese's, they can't have that.
I don't like Reese's.
You eat enough peanut butter and jellies. Like, I'm afraid you're gonna get a peanut butter overdose.
Yeah, you shouldn't have this, trust me.
That's so roguish, Gary. God.
You saying you don't like Reese's?
No. I think
I don't
I'm the
either.
only one. I'm the only person.
I think that's un-American.
I don't care. I'll be as un-American as it comes on at least one holiday or with one candy. The peanut butter isn't even like peanut butter to me. It's like, this is like some horrible other planet's version of what they thought peanut butter was going to be.
You know what the peanut butter is? It's one simple thing that the peanut butter is in Reese's. I've seen it on a TV show.
What?
So the story is that, who's the big one? Hershey, right? Hershey, Pennsylvania. So Barbecue knows all about this. Hershey, Pennsylvania. That town is because that guy started making Hershey bars there because there was dairy farms. So he literally built Hershey, Pennsylvania to make chocolate. In that town, that's where Reese's was selling chocolates to the people that worked at Hershey's. How the hell does that even happen? He's selling chocolates to the people that work at Hershey's, right? That's how he's making his living, selling chocolates in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and I forget all the details, but essentially he got to the size where he had his own factory doing it. It started in his house, he got to a factory, and one time the factory was making the peanut butter because they had to make their own peanut butter back in the day, and they cooked it just a little bit longer, and they made them, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna throw these away because they're different." And he's like, "No, wait a minute." And that is Reese's peanut butter cup. It's just peanut butter cooked a little bit longer, and it essentially breaks down a little bit. It starts to do whatever that we've all eaten a Reese's before. That's all it is. It's just a little bit overcooked peanut butter, and it starts to change its consistency a bit, and that was what locked in. And from then he skyrocketed, and he literally skyrocketed as a chocolate company in Hershey, Pennsylvania, selling chocolates to people who worked at Hershey factory. Blows my mind. That's like selling Chevrolets to people that worked at Ford's factory or something. Like, I just can't imagine people that work at Hershey's are like going home and going, well, first off, why would they even want to eat chocolate? Wouldn't you be sick of chocolate?
Yeah.
And then they're like, you know what? I want something different than what I eat at work, so I'm going to buy these. I mean, the Reese's. I mean, I guess I get it, but
Well, Hershey's,
I thought that was incredible. That all it is just overcooked. Well, not overcooked, but a little bit extra cooked peanut butter, and that makes it the Reese's peanut butter.
like you were saying, they basically built the town for the factory, and
Yes.
they had really strict rules on the way you had to live your life.
Oh,
I
in
mean,
order to
boy.
stay there and everything.
Yeah,
I think I remember seeing that same series. It's like The Food That Built America or something. They like an hour on these different parts of food in the country or in the history of the country. And I remember there's a separate one, or maybe it's the same one, but I think it's a separate one that talks about when Hershey, because the whole deal is everybody else makes chocolate different around the world, and our chocolate is more sour. Everybody hates our chocolate, but Hershey
yeah,
made
that sour
our
milk flavor.
Yeah, but he made our chocolate room temperature stable. Like our chocolate isn't fragile, wimpy chocolate, metric chocolate that has to be refrigerated all the time. So our chocolate is, allowed chocolate to actually get to the whole world and be through the wars and stuff. Like all their fancy chocolates, you have to have them in a refrigerator or they go bad. So anyway, people can say what they want about our chocolate, but Hershey made chocolate accessible. Right? He brought chocolate everywhere. And then he sold chocolate to all his competitors forever.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Mars buys their chocolate from Hershey's.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. But at the same time, he bought like everything in all those countries so he could never stop making chocolate, even through wars and stuff. Like he just owns everything. And I think there's some people that don't like that.
Sonny Gunn said I end up eating most of my kids' candy. And Wesley Foster's out there letting me know he's a subscriber and got his notification, and the audio is good.
That's awesome feedback.
Misfit Starline, I like Three Musketeers and Almond Joy. I do too.
Very much.
I like Almond Joy and Mounds because sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
Mounds got nuts. No, Almond Joy's got nuts.
Mounds don't.
What exactly is nougat anyway? I mean, that's like a mystery food, nougat.
It's just whipped, whatever.
And it's just whipped caramel or whipped hot sugar.
That's probably my favorite candy bar is Three Musketeers.
Milky Way?
No,
Three Musketeers with caramel in it.
What's the difference
Nougat?
between the Three Musketeers and a Milky Way?
The caramel layer.
Oh, which one has caramel?
Milky Way.
Oh, okay.
Three Musketeers just plain old nougat dipped in chocolate. I mean, it's epic. And it's really good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that Milky Way was like, oh, let's add a ribbon of caramel on there. And then there's other ones where they add nuts to that, I think. Is that a Mars? I don't know. I haven't eaten every chocolate bar. I've eaten a crap load of the dark chocolate bars.
I do. I really enjoy dark chocolate with
Oh yeah.
hazelnuts is my favorite.
Mm-mm. My
I like
favorite has got to be one of the crazy African countries, like the stuff that comes straight from a specific country, Zimbabwe or someplace, and they'll just be the most amazing chocolates so far that I've experienced. Madagascar, super good.
The ones I'll eat most often are the Ritter Sport.
No, you sent me one of them one time. It's a pretty
Yeah.
dang good. Those
They're
thick, like a chunk more than a bar.
yeah,
What are they about?
they're smooth.
Yeah, they're good, but they're thicker. They're like a different form factor. They're more of like a Hershey's Kiss that you're breaking, like a thicker chunk of chocolate than a bar where you're eating like a little part.
But they're on the expensive side. God, it's like $4 or $5 a bar, I think.
Wow.
That's spendy.
That's the difference, though. Chocolate that's legit costs more. It's like coffee. I mean, cheap coffees, dime a dozen. It's not anywhere near as handmade or, what's the word, like paid attention to.
I don't know coffee that well. When I drank coffee, if I made it at home, I just make Folgers, which I know is kind of the beans that you can't really use, so they grind them up and make it into freeze dried instant. So, do you have from your childhood, if you can remember, what was your favorite costume that you had?
Easy. I don't think about it too long. I was Gene Simmons, like 3 or 4 years as a little kid, and my mom did the direction on the plays and a couple of the musicals. So she had the theatrical supply catalogs, and she ordered me a wig that was a top knot to match the way he looked. And we did full face makeup every year. She had that stuff going too. I'll switch over my icon because I was the demon I wanted to be. Never did go as far as having like a really ornate outfit, rest of the costume to go with it. Of course, circa 78, 79, I definitely wanted to have the big boots, demon boots and whatnot. Didn't get that fancy, but I know that there's some pictures around somewhere. And my little brother glommed on, and he was always Peter Criss. He was always the cat. So those were great memories, man.
Anyone else?
That's right.
I only ever put on my surplus crap and was only ever an army dude. That's all I ever did. Just an excuse to wear my army crap again into school or whatever. So never had to buy a costume.
I had a little tiny football outfit I can remember when I was probably 8 years old. Also had a cowboy outfit.
Isn't that just your school outfit in Kansas?
Yeah, probably. Funny thing is,
people in Kansas put on a different hat and go as somebody from Oklahoma.
one of my cousins, after my aunt and uncle had passed away, they were going through their belongings and they found this outfit that had my name on it. Evidently, after I had outgrown it, my mother had given it away to one of my younger cousins for a costume for something, and I ended up getting that back like 40 years later. I still have that
Wow.
outfit in my closet now.
Does it still fit?
It does not.
He puts it on George now.
It could almost fit George.
Mine is probably I went as Zorro one year. Yeah, my mom made the costume and
They gave you a sword?
she carved me a sword
Wow.
so I could have a sword. Yeah, my Z was actually reflective tape, so it was safe.
That's pretty cool. Was the sword made out of
Fancy.
wood?
Yeah,
Nice.
She whittled me a sword.
That's dedication.
But I don't even remember most of the costumes growing up. I know I had a Mickey, kind of a Mickey Mouse one, face painted, because I've seen the pictures, but I don't remember it. And I remember having those cheap costumes that were the plastic face mask you can't see or breathe, and then the kind of jumpsuit costume.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember what any of them were.
I had one of those for when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I don't remember my brother being in the pictures, so he was probably just being born. And it was my favorite costume ever. It was the one of the devil, and it had like this crazy looking, scary ass devil mask and one of the little jumpsuit things you're talking about. Yeah.
Past a few years, it seems like half the kids that are kind of tweener age, to a little bit older than that, they're all that like to dress up as kind of a cross between a crazy clown and the ghost killer from Scream.
Ugh.
So they've got the black robe with thing, and then they'll have a knife, and then either a clown or ghost mask. And it's like half the kids that age dress up like that. Bubba Triclops Ballistic is out there. And
With all
Ron
the
Wayne.
cosplay and stuff, I wonder if that's affecting Halloween. Like, do cosplayers go nuts on Halloween, or is it not such a big deal because they do that every day? Like, make stuff is no big deal. You just go to YouTube now and you can make like Iron Man armor and, like you name the kind of thing you want to do, and they'll show you how to make it out of some foam and pool noodles.
The cosplayers have gotten incredibly good at making their costumes.
Right, and then they share all of that. So it's like, here, I used a pool noodle to make this armor, or like, here's a sword I made out of a piece of, stuff from from Home Depot.
I follow a couple of channels that do costume contest stuff, not just like straight up cosplay conventions, but the kind of people that are in the like the runway shows that are featured on them. And there's this chick that I'm subbed to in Florida. 3D printing has made that stuff just explode like crazy. Like she has, I've been keeping track of this one project she's been working on since last year. She has like this demon character, cloven feet, where they're like mini stilts that she's on. The wings are like 12 feet wide, 12-foot wingspan, and they articulate at all the joints, and she can flop them back and forth. It's like, it's an insane amount of work, but like that's like really, really, really cool. I can't imagine what that'd been like to have around when I was a kid.
Gizzard lined all his ducks up in a row over there.
Don't talk about ducks.
Don't look at the chat then.
No.
I've kind of always wanted to go to a cosplay convention to see the costumes and whatnot, but I kind of feel like I'm too old to go.
I don't know, man. It's like a never too old kind of thing, isn't it? I mean, sci-fi conventions, you got people from 0 to, about to kick off tomorrow sort of deal. So same with Comic-Cons and whatnot. I wouldn't be too self-conscious about it.
You were enjoying it while it was happening, some of it, and yeah, I can't imagine anybody would care that you might not get half of it, but if you like anime and all that stuff, that's part of them and stuff. So
yeah,
a little bit of everything. It's like going to a gun show as like a competition shooter or a hunter. Like it's not like every booth is going to be for hunting, but something there's going to have something for you.
I wanted to dress up too. So
As what?
Captain Avatar from Star Blazers.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know that character.
Partly because he's the only kind of fat character, so that's the only one that I could do. So he has a different name in the Japanese version, but this is Captain Avatar. Again,
okay.
oops. Uh-oh. What did I just do?
Mhm.
Hang on, I messed up my screen I meant to do this so we can see him a little better.
So essentially, you just get a big coat.
Yeah, but like a pea coat, and
Just use those white pants you wear all the time anyway.
but it'll probably never happen. Woods, if Woods is still awake, he'll know Star Blazers. That was probably the cartoon that had the biggest impact on me because I still love it. Still think about it all the time. I've got a model of the Argo, which was the Yamato. It's in Japan. It's Space Battleship Yamato. So they retrofit the battleship Yamato from World War II into a spaceship. I won't go too much into it, but I've got a model of it. I bought the clear model, which I kind of wish I hadn't because it's yellowing now. But you can take the pieces apart and see inside the ship and see all the parts, which is really cool unless you move it and it falls apart, because I've bumped it before and then had to spend all the time putting it back together. But I don't know if anybody else knows what I'm talking about. So So Jason Ghost Terra said, I always a clown or vampire. We were poor, but I got to play with my mom's makeup. And Bubba's talking duck peni out there. And he also loved to cosplay as Alistair, the radio demon. But he's too chunky.
No idea what that is. You know what that is?
I'm not familiar.
Is that anime?
Mobile Suit Gundam and Tenchi Muyo and Dragon Ball is what made my childhood. The Tenchi Muyo, I've only seen one of the movies. Tenchi Muyo Falls in Love, or In Love. I can't remember exactly, but I haven't seen any of the other ones of that. There's a scene where he's in the classroom and there's a girl standing in front of him talking to him, and everything freezes except him. And so, of course, he pokes her in the boob while everything's frozen.
What's Mobile Suit Gundam?
That's the big robots.
What's the nutshell of, or the elevator speech of that show? If
The big robots that turn into fighter planes.
Their origin story, or like just in an environment in a universe where they just exist, so it's just you're just there, like Star Wars, no explanation. Like here we are, here's Star Wars. Like
I don't know I know of them, but I never got into it.
Okay, because like BattleTech, that's like spaceship falls on Earth and Earthlings use the tech and make airplane robots out of them, right? He's saying interspace battle with robots. What's all the duck talk? What happened in the other chat about ducks? I got there at the end.
You don't want to know, man.
DJ, you want to explain that one?
No, I don't. I don't. You had to be there, G. You had to be there, and you weren't. Consider yourself lucky.
I'm skeptical of any kind of duck talk like this.
You should be. Bubba says he can explain it.
I don't know if people are interested, but I think there could be a service there to, if like, let's say you're passionate about something like, I like Starship Troopers a lot, to just do a quick video going, hey, Starship Troopers was a book, and then the guy who hated the book made a movie trying to be a dick, and except that it backfired and everybody liked the movie. And then they made a second movie, like just to quickly go through the whole like quick history, like an elevator speech. Because I occasionally am sitting here going, I don't want to watch like Star Wars again, or I'm not like I just was doing that earlier today. I had a bunch of projects I'm working on. I like to have a movie playing, especially if I'm walking in and out of the house. If I want to leave a movie playing, just to have something making noise, so I'm not listening to the radio. Something like Star Wars, I could care less if I walk in and out of Star Wars. I've seen it a million times. But anyway, sometimes it would be interesting to try something new, but how do you know? You can't tell from the cover. So having a quick review of like a series, like somebody could do that. I think I finally got that for Stargate, because Stargate was just a mess. Like there's so much of it. After asking a bunch of people and asking them to narrow it down for me, I think I finally got like the summary of Stargate, so I could attempt to jump in and get my feet wet without having to watch it from the beginning, essentially.
I was trying to find a video of, there's somebody that has made basically a mech suit.
The one in Japan that's huge,
yeah,
that comes out of the building?
No, that's the Gundam.
Oh, okay. Oh, you mean one that somebody can sit in?
Yeah.
I've seen one that's more like a giant Ed 209 thing, where you sit in it and it's got robot legs and robot arms.
What?
But it's
yeah, I think that's probably the same one. And that's my one complaint, is it has wheels.
That's the thing, is it just kind of looks like one. It doesn't even do nothing, and I think it might be attached. No, it's not attached to the building. That's the big one. But yeah, it's got wheels and it doesn't do nothing. It just sits there essentially.
But it's,
what's an Ed 209?
From RoboCop, the two-legged thing with the big radar head.
Oh, okay.
The big thing from RoboCop. It wasn't a humanoid. It was just a big, I don't know what to call it. Bipedal robot. Looked like a big egg with legs.
Yeah, I think I remember.
With guns. Anyway, Ed 209 is one of my favorite robots.
so this robot.
Well,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He's kind of like a Robotech, except he doesn't turn into an airplane or nothing. Well, there's no people in him. He's too small to have a person in him, I guess. We were talking earlier about the bracket and when to start the bracket and the topic of the bracket. So I was wondering if you could fill in some of those questions for the audience.
Well, the bracket, because it's the older style battery, since we just did a bracket, there's a cool down period before you can start recharging it. The battery has to cool down because it heats up so much. It's like a 2 to 3 week process of cooling it down.
I've got a whole bunch of super heavy duty D size batteries for the bracket too.
But that one mech suit, it's kind of, it's the first, so it's the genesis of the mech suit. It's just it has wheels. It's the most disappointing thing.
Well, there are, what are they called? Suits that you'd wear in a warehouse to lift stuff. Assisting suits, like exoskeletons. Do you count them? No. I mean, do you
Like the
count?
one from Alien?
No, yeah,
The one from
exactly.
Aliens? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
those exist. They do have those different styles of things to let essentially the exoskeleton take all the weight and become like, essentially robotic assistants for lifting, just like in that thing, except they're not as big. They look more like the thing from Elysium, I think. It's more like something that you strap on. It looks like something that somebody would wear if they blew their knee out, sport or something. But anyway, do you count those as being an evolution of the mech suit or the bat, whatever? Because I think
Yeah.
those are going to get bigger before we see a robot, that you get in. I think it's going to develop from enhanced, whatever that's called.
Maybe.
A bracket about the next bracket. That's epic. What the next bracket should be? Have a bunch of bracket topics, and then a bracket, and then the result of the bracket is the topic of the next bracket.
That sounds dangerous. Might
It's like
might have an
inside.
implosion. I was just looking up. Since I couldn't find what I was looking for, what we've been talking about, it kind of the thing that nobody really knows what I'm talking about reminds me of the Tachikomas from Ghost in the Shell because they are wheeled.
Can you make that smaller? Oh, okay.
I forgot about them.
Is there people in there? What's going on?
They can. There is enough room to fit one person in there, but they're autonomous.
Interesting. Looks like a spider. You
Yeah.
sit in the back part. You sit in the abdomen.
Yeah, and they are armed and they have their own satellite.
Their own satellite.
Yeah, they coordinated through the satellite, but they can think and talk. There's I think four of them in Ghost in the Shell, the series.
They got wheels also, so they just drive instead of walk.
Yeah. Baron SVG's out there. Good
Is
evening.
that legal? Is that legal?
Oh, he's got a couple putty tats and they're rambunctious.
It's unethical to bite the person while they're sleeping. That's why a dog would never do such a thing like that.
I used to have a beagle that he always liked to sleep behind my back with his paws facing my back, and so at night when he would dream, he would scratch me in the back when he'd start kind of flailing around.
Walking.
Yeah. That's the reason that we ended up with well, we bought the queen size bed and then went to a king size bed because we had a cat and the dog, and my wife was pregnant, so it was kind of crowded on the bed. Baron said, after owning cats, I'm now a dog person.
I like having cats. I just don't think of them as pets. Like, I don't mind having a cat around that I feed. But they can just do their own thing.
Our last cat, I've talked about him, who was best friends with the beagle. He would come when I'd call him. He'd like to lay on the couch with me. If I laid on my side, he would snuggle in behind my knees. And then if I laid on my back, he would snuggle in between my knees. And a little bit skittish unless he was laying between my legs. Then I could knock him around and he'd just kind of flop around there. and he loved bread. If I was eating a sandwich or something, I'd feed him pieces of bread. Baron just got a king size bed also.
That's how you get them hooked on the gluten. Then they'll do whatever you want.
I don't have a bedroom big enough to put a king size bed in.
Gotta have a doorway big enough first. Hallway
I
big enough.
know. Well, especially when you live, in an apartment like I do with stairwells and stuff, you aren't going to get a bed that big up these stairwells.
You can get one of those giant bean bags. You seen those? The size of a swimming pool.
Love stack?
Okay.
I mean, is that what you're talking about? Like giant beanbag things that like you can get 2 people in?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody knows Marco. He had one of them. Yeah, it was huge, and it was like a giant. You could put like 8 people on it, I think. And then,
Oh, the jump. Yeah, those things are ridiculously expensive, man, but they're cool as fuck.
so it's huge, and then it was full of memory foam chunks, right? So I'm pretty sure it had memory foam chunks like the size of a Rubik's cube, all in there. So it wasn't quite beans, but it was still, I don't know what to call that. It was interesting. But anyway, you could drag that canvas thing in, the shell of it, at one trip, and then just for the next week bring in like boxes of foam until you get it full. But unlike a bed, you could do it in pieces like that.
Oh, it's one of those memory foam beds.
Oh, okay, yeah. They come
Those
in like
are
the size of a
cool.
suitcase. I'm gonna get one of them next, or I've got one now, but my next one will be brand new, where it comes out of the size of a suitcase.
I just have a topper for my mattress. It's like 6 inches of memory foam on top.
Now, I
got
bought one for my daughter. It came kind of in a coil wrapped up, and you took the plastic off, and man, this thing would expand and fill up the room.
Like an inflatable raft.
Like a
Yeah, almost.
They
Yeah.
vacuum pack them to get them to ship
Yeah,
them.
exactly. That's what I'm looking for.
I have a memory foam mattress, but we bought it at the mattress store.
I got mine given to me, but it's totally different having the whole mattress, right, than like the top. Like I really like having the whole mattress. It's cool.
I do really like it. It was kind of years ago. My back started getting sore. I'd wake up with a sore back, and I had a customer that told me, get a foam mattress. And I like pillow top, traditional pillow top mattresses. They're super comfortable, but I'm heavy enough where they break down pretty fast.
Like every morning, I wake up and there's scratches all on my back because I'm sore.
But as soon as we got the memory foam mattress, my back stopped hurting.
Because
Are
the
they
dog
hot, though?
had enough room to be like 2 inches away from me, so he wasn't actually scratching your back anymore.
That was one thing we had to get used to, is they retain heat.
The thing I don't like about it most is delayed spring action. Like I prefer to have the springs bounce back.
And my wife likes them because I toss and turn. Even though I'm comfortable, I switch from left to right to back to left and right constantly, and so the motion doesn't transfer.
I like to change position to the most defensive position appropriate for the time, depending on circumstances throughout the night and where people are on the street or who might be in the house, that kind of thing.
And Hillbilly Up was saying that he played the video. I did. I watched your chat. I just didn't say anything. I was working on some stuff while I was listening.
What video?
Oh, he had asked me to make a promo for this chat so he could play it.
Let's see it. Let's see it. What's happening? Let's see it.
Well, I don't have it on the laptop.
Come on, man.
It's on the desktop. I was just gonna kind of recycle one of my old ones, but it has the old logo in it. So I decided to try to do something, try to do it in a little different way. And it came out, it kind of looks like, yeah, now I can't remember the name of the type of animation, but like, have you ever seen Archer, the TV show Archer?
Yes.
It kind of looks like that animation, but a lot less movement because I'm hand drawing everything. Well, mouse drawing everything.
Those were cool too. Like Lord Humongous translated immediately. I know exactly who that character was.
I was happy with that. And in the movie, you can't really see his eyes, but I gave him crazy eyes just because I thought it would look better.
Good job, man.
That's kind of how it, I drew it, and then I thought, well, it's all static. And so I wanted a little movement, so I made him blink. And then I did the hillbilly, and then thought, well, that's kind of static. So I, just gave him a head tilt and a wink. And then I thought, well, the Lord Humongous, I, made the clouds move just so there's a little more going on. And I forgot to put in the wind noise. That kind of bugs me because that would give it more of an outdoor feel with a little bit of wind noise, but I forgot to do that. Hillbilly saying heated water beds was the best.
Oh yeah.
Till the heaters
Remember
quit
that.
working. Then they weren't fun anymore.
When I was in
Too
grade
much
school,
motion in your ocean, was it?
No.
I've woken up in a cold water bed before. I've had the heater get unplugged or go off or whatever. I wake up in a cold water bed. It's pretty cold.
Yep.
when I was in grade school, my friend, his parents had a water bed. So we would climb up on the dresser and do belly flops off the dresser onto the waterbed. They're amazingly resilient.
Huh, that's almost like they were made to be jumped up and down. At what point in the show was the promo? Beginning, middle, end?
Near the end.
One of my friend's parents had one of the chambered water bed mattress things. So the length, the tubes were like maybe 10 inches in circumference. So you could set different, fill them at different rates, I guess, so that each side of the bed could be different between whoever was occupying it, sort of thing. I thought that was like the best version of a water bed that I've ever been on. It didn't have the tendency to throw the other person up or raise them depending on the other person's weight, sort of thing. You could isolate it and you actually have it sink down in the middle a little bit under your spine. I really, really like that thing.
My mom had one of the waveless ones with is basically just foam in the middle to mitigate some of the water movement. And why we had to move it I can't remember why, but had to empty it and then try and move it. But you still got this soggy piece of foam in the middle of it to wrestle around. And Hillbilly wants one of the Sleep Number beds someday. Oh, so DJ.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you plug something?
Tuesdays, Guns and Barbecue channel. He's got 4 more episodes left. I want to see everybody there for at least the next one, second, third, all the way to the end. It's going to end at episode number 300. That's a perfect game in bowling. I think it should be perfectly clear that I would like people to show up for that. And that's what I got for you, man. So I see everybody again. Be safe, have fun, carry your guns, and rock. I'm out.
Gary, anything you want to plug? Like your chat?
Foul Territory. That's Friday nights at 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what time it is out on the West Coast there. It's some weird time out there. But anyway, yeah, love to have you watch it. Also, I'd like to plug gearwebsites.com. Cool place to buy cool stuff. And every Friday is Free Patch Friday there, I hear. Thanks for the invite.
Oh, no problem. And speaking of gear websites, gearwebsites.com for all your 2A related books, patches, stickers, posters, playing cards. He does web consulting, logo design, you name it, he'll consult it or design it. Gearwebsites.com. Anything you want to plug, G-Webs?
Screen sharing. You want to play the promo? I've got it on the.
Hang on, let me. Are you? Which? Oh,
screen share.
Screen
It looks
sharing.
like the other show. So I took a clip from Hillbilly. This is the show.
DM Bosses.
I am gravely disappointed. Once again, you have made me unleash my dogs of war.
Howdy, everybody. How y'all doing?
There has been too much violence, too much pain. But I have an honorable compromise. Just come join us. Saturday nights, 11 p.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. Sunday metric. Just join us, and there will be an end to the horror.
I'll play this again. You want to make sure you get over to DM Fawcett.
Okay, and then I think it just plays the whole rest of the show. But I just pulled the clip, which essentially just makes a URL that starts at that segment of the show. So yeah, that's a cool clip.
So if you watch this in replay, leave a comment. Like I said, I always read the comments, and I always appreciate seeing them. And thank you to those who were in the live chat. I'm chatting her up. And those who might have been watching and didn't say anything, I appreciate you too. Don't be afraid to speak up. Say hi. Let me know that you're out there. And next week will be an overnight, and I don't know what we're going to talk about. I haven't even thought about it. But, I forgot to put the links. There's still the comment periods going on. There's two of them that are kind of important. The ATF's frames and receiver rules, round 2, and then the storage for black powder.
It's more of the redefinition of a sale, or who needs to be a licensed dealer when you sell.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I think I said that last time too.
I don't know, but it's easy to mix up because the other one was in the last pair of comment periods, and they're still fiddling with that every once in a while. It shows up on the radar, so it's definitely not easy to keep track of them all.
So go over and let your voice be heard.
We're getting smeared. I don't know if you're looking at it at all, but it's
I haven't.
It's 250,000 comments or something. And I went through and looked, and it's just cookie cutter from every town, from Bloomberg. I agree with this. This is great. I agree with this. This is great. I agree with this. This is great. I got mind numb clicking through them. That's all there was. So what we really need is that one kid that data mined it and scrubbed it to figure out what all's in there. because they'll download. You can, I think, download them as they're happening or whatever. But it's an overwhelming number of robot, whatever you call them, comments from the antis. We don't do anything different. We don't get a bunch of organic ones, but we're not even making a drop in the bucket this time. It's like they've just taken the comment periods. I don't even know if anybody on our side's talking about it. Maybe
Not,
because we can't win.
there's not a lot. I mean, there's very few people talking about it that I've seen. But so go over and comment, and all you have to do is say, if you agree or disagree, and you can add more if you want to add more.
Yeah, like if you're offended that you don't think they should have the authority to make this decision, that they should have to wait for Congress, who makes the laws, to tell them to enforce this. They should just decide this is something that's worthy of enforcement. But then let's say next week you come in and go, plus I don't like the way that you're saying that you either have to be in business, but you're not going to allow us to be in business. So it's a catch-22. You're creating extra burden on us to deal with, like to interpret. So whatever your comment is, and then 3 weeks later, if you come up with another reason, you're welcome to comment 3 times. You don't have to just put it all in one comment or wait until you come up with every point. You can comment when it comes up and when you have a new point or when you want to even reiterate something.
So DJ put links for it, and it really does only take maybe 10 minutes. Longer if you want to take your time. But
well, I think that in addition to commenting, because like you said, it's nothing, talking about it, getting it on the radar. People that are out there doing shows are not paying attention to it because the other people aren't paying attention to it. It just needs to get into the wind. The scent of it needs to get out there. People need to get offended. They like to think about everything that makes, this is the fall of the Roman Empire, sky's falling. I'll give them this reason to make the sky's falling. Get them over there and get them commenting, just get them talking about it, and that'll get people who are active. So be active, but also just get the word out, because the active people just don't know about it. Let them know about it and let them be active too.
And other than that, thank you to everybody that was here on the chat participating, and those who were out there. I always feel like I'm forgetting something, and usually I am, but probably not important. So I hope
you forgot the bracket.
Oh, I left them in my other pants. I appreciate everybody, and I hope you have a good rest of the day. And trying to find, there we go. And go do something good.